call to justice is the call of the heart. To return to that place of connectedness, connected with our deeper feeling intelligence. And then we're in harmony with life. The human journey is so much a journey of reconnecting the head and the heart. Whenever the head is dominating, it's disconnected from the heart. Every time we're judging, we're in trouble. And this recent shocking footage of George Floyd being restrained has just touched so many millions of people throughout the world, profoundly feeling how unjust is that. It's out of sync, it's out of harmony. And when I saw it shortly after it happened, I felt deeply, deeply touched. And I also felt the craziness of the situation. This police officer, Derek Chauvin, he was kneeling on George's neck for 9 minutes. George is saying, he can't breathe, let me breathe. People around are saying, he can't breathe, let him go. But poor old Derek was so lost in his mind. He was so disconnected. He didn't get off, he didn't release. George died. A tragedy for George's daughter, his wife, his family, his community. A tragedy for all of us. And also a tragedy for Derek and his family. Derek's going to spend the rest of his life in jail. He ruined his life. Just get a sense of how blind we are when we're disconnected. When we act from a place of disconnection, suffering is inevitable. Even if it's not immediate, it will always arise. The call of life to reconnect with our heart. And it really is an experience that has stirred so many. And we want to learn from this experience. The first thing is, if we act from a place of disconnection, just look at what this police officer did. And the others who were beside him watching, they're all disconnected too. They didn't take any action. So the consequences, extraordinary. So acting from a place of disconnected, just lost in your head, always going to create trouble. That's one key thing. Another thing we, of course, are reminded of is the inequalities that exist in so many societies. And, of course, this inequality, which the Black Lives Matter movement have been trying to, bring equality for quite a long time now. This inequality is just staring so vividly at all of us, all around the world. Here in Australia, people are stirred. Black Lives Matter here, Black Lives Matter everywhere. But it's bigger than that, of course. In society, there are so many inequalities, so many people are judged, so many people have reduced opportunity. When you have a society that is the best society, equality is a natural feature of that society, opportunity and equality. And you have a society where there's a lot more harmony. So we recognize inequalities exist and they require strong action to change them. But the action has to come from a place of respect, from equality. If it comes from a place of disrespect, that's all it creates. So this is a very important thing. When we're taking action to bring about more balanced equality in our societies, it's got to come from our hearts. We've got to stay connected. And really, there's such wonderful examples of people through time who've brought tremendous change and benefit to their communities and societies. In America, every year there is a public holiday to celebrate the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, who was such a key player in the civil rights movement, which again, it's all about this equality, black and white. But Dr. King was a very wise man in so many regards. He really wanted to bring change that was from a place of deeper connection, from the heart. He wanted love to guide that change, love and respect. And he came across the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. And as he came across those teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, he was greatly inspired. He realized, wow, it's possible to lead non-violent protest, to bring about strong social change without violence, to do it from a place of the heart, from respect. That guided him throughout his life. Because Mahatma Gandhi was able to lead an independence movement that brought freedom from British domination and rule. Extraordinary. And these two players, some of the greatest social activists we've ever seen, had huge success, leading change from a place of connection, encouraging people to stay in their hearts as they took action. So it's very important for us all at this time that we don't get confused. We often confuse justice and injustice. Our minds constantly create our experience, our world, whether it's individually or collectively. If you've ever suffered from injustice, from inequality, if you've ever suffered from that personally, or you've witnessed it close at hand and you've really suffered and felt that, and you haven't digested that experience, then those undigested experiences will create the building blocks of a pattern of injustice or unfairness in your psyche. So you will have naturally the desire for justice. That's a flavor of love and connection. That'll be there. But when you get really upset with the perception of inequality, injustice, unfairness, when you're upset, that's not actually justice being stirred in you. It's injustice. It's inequality. You got to get that. And if you act from a place of injustice, you bring injustice into the world. When you act from a place of justice, you bring justice into the world. I read an article in The Guardian by Jericho Brown. He's a great poet, Pulitzer Prize-winning poet. And the headline was, "To win justice for George Floyd, we need the rage that abolished slavery." Now, if you've had strong moments of anger in your life, you've probably noticed you've done some really dumb things, because when we're angry, our awareness gets very narrow. We talk about blind anger, blind rage. He's calling for rage. That's a state of high disconnection. We don't want rage. We want love and awareness to guide us in how we bring about social change. Otherwise, you create the same problem. This is really important. So what I encourage you to do is to really tune in to two of the most successful activists of the modern times, Dr. Martin Luther King and Mahatma Gandhi. How they managed to lead these non-violent movements, encouraging people to deeply respect the other, not to judge them, and to bring about the sort of change that really every heart wants. Okay, it's a big time. Let's do it together.